Okay, Mr. Nobody, where have you been? Is probably what you're gonna ask me. First off, I can't talk too loud because my laptop can't handle that. But also, I've been doing really. I betrayed you guys. I left out of nowhere. What am I, Corey X Kenjin? Uh, I feel a bit bad about that. You know. So where is your? I'm your boy. I just up and left. Not very nice of me, I must say. You're probably wondering, you look a bit more translucent today than I normally do. I'm still trying to find a new background. I was evicted from my old place, unfortunately, and now I'm stuck in the starry night sky. Not doesn't really do well for my figure, but I'm hoping pretty soon I can get a nice new background to live in. So you probably wonder, what are we talking about today? And where's all that legendary editing that you have every single one of your videos? Well, today and probably every other day, I upload. I don't really have any big edits planned for the videos. I'm, I don't know, I'm just very lazy. Couldn't think of it. I really was about to give you guys like a whole excuse, like, yeah, blah 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 life stuff, blah blah blah, but really just lazy. Because if I really wanted to, even with stuff going on, I could probably get out a very low quality edits on these videos. So as you can see by the image right next to me, that we're about to be talking about my what if video. If you want to watch that, you can. As one commenter put it a while ago, do you even have a script for this video? Lock in, little bro. So, yeah, if you want to watch that, you can, but not exactly high quality. Today, I'll just be talking about the what if in general. Nothing too particular, just my thoughts on it. And, I know if you're watching this video, you're probably a Ben 10 fan. What are you guys thinking about the new comic that's coming out? I'm so ready to buy. I haven't gotten my order yet, but I really should because I cannot wait to read it as soon as it comes out. I'm a big fan of Ben 10, and we have been starved of Ben 10 content for so long. But if you do like Ben 10 and you want to see more Ben 10 content, watch my channel obviously, but also watch the Ink Tank. Love those guys. Have a link to their channel in the description of the video because they're just so good. Love their stuff. And also, 5YL is a web comic, a motion comic that they have on their channel. Been working on for a long time. I've been following it for decently like a couple years now, and it is really good. They have like 8 episodes out on their channel. I'll go check that out. But back to the what if. So Albedo 10. What does that even mean? And what's up with the poorly drawn white on Ben 10's hair? That's all very good questions that I'm about to be getting to. First, in this what if, Albedo decides to make his copy of the Omnitrix early, which is the main difference. You know, that the difference that starts all the other stuff in the what if. And I was just thinking to myself after going on like Google Images, I looked at its villain time. I don't know. It's not I don't have the image on my laptop. I should probably go look for it. You could go find it if you wanted to. But it's where Stormcaster, Darkstar, and Albedo are all like on a team together. And I ate that up, to be honest. I was like, that's so cool. I wish we got to see something like that in this show. Like they're direct parallels to our character, and they really don't have a story together. And I was like, that's a shame. So I was thinking about how would I do that like in universe? Like who would be the catalyst to start this? And I had two characters in mind when I started the story. And particularly that I really wanted to work on was Phil, Max's old plumber partner, one of his couple plumber partners. Max been around. And also one of Max's old friends. Max has a lot of old friends, and he has had like a couple partners. You got Phil, and you also had Albedo, which is the two I was really focused on for their dynamic, obviously, because maybe the main force of the story. So I was thinking first off, if you've seen the video, Albedo makes his copy, but he makes his copy, he like puts it on, or what he makes his copy, but he doesn't want the original to go down to Earth and to be in the hands of just some human. That's so disrespectful to him, right? Like how does a human deserve to have the legendary Omnitrix? Just like a masterpiece that I got to work on also. And where he tries to intercept it, but obviously Vilgax is also trying to get the Omnitrix at the same time. It gets shot down. Vilgax sees Albedo, shoots him down. Everybody's getting shot down. And a crash lands on Earth. And he uses his copy Omnitrix, but because Ben just like puts the Omnitrix on, he gets synchronized to Ben's DNA. And he's forced to look like Ben. He goes to find Ben as Ben is dealing with like the original first episode stuff. The robots, I forgot what they're called. Such a I'm a fake fan. That's how he deals with the robots and he also has to deal with Albedo, who's chasing him. And because like their Omnitrix are like synced, like and they like rub against each other like they did in the original Albedo episode, his DNA gets corrupted and it's about to like they're about to explode because of the synchronization. And so he has to take the core out of his Omnitrix, right? And that functionally destroys it because it's like a inferior copy. And he uses one of the Omnitrix codes that he knows, 001, the couple. I don't remember the exact code. Holy moly! And and he removes the original Omnitrix and takes it for himself, and he puts that on. So now we have Albedo, who's like the main character with the Omnitrix, but he's stuck on Earth, obviously, with no road transportation to leave because the ship got broken, and he's just overall stuck there, and he's also stuck in the body of Ben Tennyson, but he's red also, as you can see by the image right next to me. And this is the start of Albedo 10. And this is where the story really starts to pick up, where this is where my what if ended. Phil, Max's old partner, hears about like alien happening like around where Max like I don't think he knows where Max lives, maybe he does, but around the area where he lives at and where they started the vacation, right? And because he hears about these alien sightings, obviously he wants to make some quick money off of that. He goes there. He runs into Albedo, and because he sees Albedo has the Omnitrix, right? He's like, "This is perfect. Me and you, Albedo. I help you go turn back into a Galvin, and you help me cause a bit of trouble, take in some alien threats or whatever, and I can get the plumbers reinstated and relive my glory days." And so those two team up. And that's the main premise of like the first part of the what if I worked on. Uh I think I feel like that's a pretty good start. No. For other characters, I want to get introduced. I want to get Charmcaster early on because she'll be like the Gwen of the team, just off of like vibes. And adamantly, I'm not the biggest fan of the reboot, but I do plan on using reboot stuff for the what if. So, and also like movies. I'm also going over movies also. So if you don't like that, I can that's understandable. For just like for any like questions that I answer about it off the top of my dome, I don't feel like there's a lot that's out in the air that's not very open. Phil, just like in the reboot, has some technological knowledge that I'm adding to his character, and that's and also I'm adding his backstory with Max because I feel like Phil by himself does have like an interesting character of want to relive his old life and like be a hero, but he also likes the fame, glory, and money that comes along with that, and that's feel like he's an interesting like father figure almost to Albedo. I mean, Albedo is older than him, but he's like in a child body, and he has to like follow his orders. I mean, Albedo, for people that are thinking Albedo wouldn't go along with Phil or something like that, you got to think about this. Albedo is the same idiot that got tricked by Vilgax not once but twice. Albedo willingly worked with Vilgax again, even after he betrayed him. That just says a lot about his character. So I don't think he would be against working with Phil at all for this scenario. Phil, I'd still have him just like be the same, like he's money hungry, but some of his stuff, like I'm pretty sure in the reboot, I haven't seen it in a while. Like he had an apprentice and like for like a tech company maybe. I feel like I wouldn't be against adding stuff like that to the story, but I'd mainly be following the story of the main show and add in reboot stuff whenever it like suits the story mainly. I also want to add reboot stuff because I feel like Albedo is a lot more equipped to handle stuff that Ben just couldn't. You know, like he had more combat experience. I assume. I mean, he's going toe to toe with Ben when he met him, and for Albedo, I doubt like in his lifespan that much longer for him, like given like how old he is. So like at least like 100 now. And he also has like more knowledge about the Omnitrix and aliens in general, so he doesn't have to spend time learning new aliens because he just know what they would do. Also, I'd say Phil, even though Grandpa Max is an absolute tank, like he's a unit. Like he really like Max during the original Ben 10 really ran people down, and I respect the man for that. But I feel like Phil has access to all his equipment from the get-go, and he's also like way more willing to get his hands dirty. Like he's willing to kill his best, one of his good friends, just to like get famous. And he said, "Don't worry, me and your kid, we'll get the Polymers back together." So he's kind of ruthless in that sense. So I'd say he definitely be more likely to handle his villains in a bit more tougher manner. So I'd say like those two just together, not even mentioning Charmcaster, would be able to deal with the normal original series threats pretty easily. So I feel like I almost need to add the stuff from the reboot, or else they would like just run through it like the easiest gauntlet of all time. Well, if you disagree with me, please let me know about that in particular. And you're probably wondering, how am I gonna, what's going on with the original Tennyson family? I'm still considering that. If you have any opinions on what should happen with them, I'm definitely willing. to take that into consideration, I feel like I would have Ben pick up the broken copy of the Omnitrix, keep it with him, and use that to become Eon. Because and obviously I prefer Alien Eon more than alternate universe Tennyson Eon. But it's definitely interesting to think about how I think I remember his Eon, he like lost his Omnitrix for some reason and was broken. And he like turned it into like a time watch or something. Correct me if I'm wrong. And I feel like doing that storyline with Ben where he learns to become a hero, like without the Omnitrix, and he has to like tinker with the broken copy. And he just has to like come up on his own. That's interesting. I don't know if I'm gonna do that. Maybe I'll turn that into a separate what if because I feel like that would take up a lot of story just by itself with the original Tennyson family. I feel like on its own, that's a very interesting story that could be told. I don't know exactly how I would get that going where Tennyson loses the Omnitrix. I feel like if you don't do it early, if you don't do it early, you're missing like a lot of potential with like how he knows the Kangaroo Man. I feel like all the heroes. I'd also want to use the reboot for this also because there's so many heroes and powerful people that Ben meets that like use technology and are just rely on things like that that he could adapt like into himself like as he like tries to become a hero the best way possible. And I definitely feel like he'd be at a big disadvantage most of the time because how would he deal with somebody like Animal? I'm getting off topic for the original Tennysons, but you understand what I mean. Gwen would probably learn magic in that scenario, also because there's still the opportunity for her to in other situations. But back to Albedo, I feel it's like back to Albedo and them. I feel like we went over pretty much everything with Phil and Albedo. You guys already know their personalities. I have a pretty good idea of my interpretation of their personalities in my head. I don't feel like I need to go over that with you guys and but I definitely need to go over their personalities like individually during situations that they handle. One thing I feel like I definitely need to make clear in the story is how Albedo adapts some of Ben's traits due to his body, which I think is very important to go over. And I know there's some promotional aliens that I've never seen before. I think some of those aliens are used in 5YL in some originals. I don't know if I would use them for this what if, maybe a different one, because I want to keep this one fairly grounded and just do what I think they'd easily do, like in universe, with the circumstances changed. For some episodes of Ben 10, I think I would just skip over. Like I don't realistically see them going to the underwater city where Max's old friend was. But maybe Phil knows this old friend. But if Phil did know this old friend, he probably wouldn't invite him because he probably wouldn't be on good terms. I don't know. It's interesting to think about that if Phil was Max's childhood friend, like he was in the reboot, a lot of things that Max does in the original story, you could make it so Phil takes up that role fairly easily. So it's something to think about. Like where I don't think Phil would ever want to go to a music festival where a weather phenomenon happens to be taking place. I don't feel like you'd ever on with the news dude. I feel like he would be a part of that because why I'm not sure if he'd like the same band. That really comes down more to personality more than anything. Also, when you think about it, if the Tennysons are still going on their normal road trip, in this scenario, would the interact with our new group? I really don't want the Tennysons to be in this scenario at all because I feel like you just take away focus from our new evil our new like evil heroes or our villains. You say it's a villain time. So I don't think I would add them, and I think I just have them stay home because Max is like scared what will happen to Ben. I feel like Max was almost like obligated to like continue the trip when he had Ben like got the Omnitrix. But if Ben got attacked by like an alien monster on the first day without the Omnitrix, I don't think Max would just mindlessly continue the story. I don't think there it's insane that they'll like never pop up. I don't feel like that's entirely out of the picture, but not in the early bits, I don't think. Uh, so anything else I want to talk about? Anything else that's spoiler wise? I'm not sure. I want to talk about that. If you have any other questions for me, I'd like to talk about that in the comments. This video is kind of going long. I feel like I've lost track of like the main topics, really. I wanted to go over, and that's pretty much everything. So if you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe to Outside the System with your boy, Mr. Nobody, and have a nice day.